What kind of students make up Boston University? It's a question I ask myself as I look around this room, or in my lecture halls, or even walking down Comm Ave to my next class. When I look around this room, I see a ton of diverse students from all across the country, from overseas. I see students who nailed their exams, who did well in their APs, their SATs, who nailed their applications. I see brilliant students and brilliant minds. But the more I look around this room and my lectures and down Comm Ave, I realize something. Statistically, 3 out of every 5 students that I pass are from the top 20%. And only 4.2% of BU students are from the bottom 20%. Now, if I were to take my writing class as an example, if I were to apply these same statistics to my writing class, in a class of 20 students, this would mean that only 12 are from the top 20%, and only 1 student would be from the bottom 20%, or considered low income. In a 2017 study published by the New York Times that included millions of anonymous tax filings and tuition records, they found that there are 30 colleges in America that have more students from the top 1% than from the bottom 60%. Why does this matter? Why does income inequality at prestigious universities matter? It may seem as though I'm trying to create division between us. It may seem as though I'm just pointing out class inequities and I'm trying to create a rouse, but I promise that's not the case. The same New York Times study found that low-income students who attend prestigious universities, much like BU, often move up 2 to 3 income levels after graduation. Through the opportunities that a prestigious university's education offers, people are able to lift themselves out of poverty, to help them overcome their challenges, creating new opportunities for them and the people around them. So, if a prestigious university's education is the way to lift people out of poverty, to create new opportunities, why is it that only 4% of BU's population is low income? To address the systemic issues of income inequality at prestigious universities, we must first look at the problems at a lower education level, high school. Traditionally, public high schools get funding through income taxes, usually through property taxes. As a result, property values in certain cities that are more expensive tend to have better funded high schools. This means that well-funded high schools usually surround themselves with incredibly wealthy students. These students have much more privilege and higher incomes. As a result, the school is well-funded and there are more teachers, there are more adjustment counselors, more mental health counselors, and college counselors. Students in AP classes will aim for 5s. They'll aim for perfect scores because they know that the teachers will support them, their families will support them. On the flip side, at an underfunded school, students don't have that same privilege. There are counselors, but maybe there aren't mental health counselors, or maybe the college counselors are a bit out of date because they don't have the resources to educate them. The students may take the same AP classes. There's an AP Calc at the underfunded school, and there's an AP Calc at the funded school. But at the underfunded school, students are aiming to pass, whereas students at the funded school have the resources to shoot for 5s, to shoot for perfect scores that would translate well on their college transcript. And as a result, students at the funded school already would have those college credits even before they start college. This means that even before they begin their college career, they're already ahead. Now, another huge systemic issue is private schools and public exam schools. Public exam schools are incredibly difficult to get into, and private schools are just the same. With up to 40% of some private schools sending their students to Ivy League admissions, many private schools are tied to higher incomes and more privilege. This means that regardless of their offering of financial aid to students, with tuition prices similar to those of a prestigious university like BU, students feel excluded from even applying to these schools. As a result, these class inequities continue. So why does talking about class inequities at a university like this and many prestigious universities worldwide matter? At its core, universities should be a place for students to learn about their surrounding environment. If we only have higher income students, there's no way for low income students to be able to learn and adapt to their environment. Students need to learn about other diverse environments, regardless of race, class, gender, socioeconomic status. So talking about income inequality at prestigious universities matters because not talking about it will only lead to higher amounts of social stratification or a ranking or hierarchy of people within a society, usually based on class, gender, or socioeconomic status. With any sort of inequality that shapes a society, whether it be racial inequality, class inequality, gender inequality, or sexual orientation inequality, the repression of talking about these inequalities that exist for people within those categories only heightens their desire for assimilation and their own self-hatred. They desire to assimilate into a category they simply cannot fit into. For BU students, this means many low-income students take on 2 to 3 jobs to be able to afford the same lives as those that are high income. As a result, many students don't have the same experiences, regardless of their income levels. In my experience, taking on a job last semester, I often engaged in excessive spending and overconsumption, thinking that these actions would be what made me happy. I thought that if I were to live the life that was glamorized to me on BU's social media by other high-income students, that I would be just as happy as they were, that I could be like them. The truth is, happiness has a lot less to do with emulating other people and a lot more to do with the acceptance of your own differences. While I realized that I couldn't shape or change my environment, I could accept my differences and find happiness within those. Truthfully, the thing that helped me the most, though, was finding other students that had shared experiences to me within my own community. In my BU community, finding students who I could relate to, who had the same differences as me, was a trivial part to my own success here at BU. For many low-income students, who are only 4% of the population, finding other students that they can relate to is a challenge. A challenge that many low-income students may not be able to find. As a result, many low-income students don't do as well as their high-income counterparts. So the question remains, how can the problem of income inequality at prestigious universities be solved? I argue that the answer to this question is the same as how can happiness increase at a prestigious university? Recruiting more students, regardless of race, gender, class, and accepting those students with the offering of more financial aid. Giving those students a place where they can find an atmosphere that relates to them, other students that relate to them, is a trivial part of success. Not only is accepting low-income students important, but accepting them and offering them more financial aid so they have the means to apply and accept them. Low-income students and middle-class students are part of what makes BU so special, not just the high-income students and not just the people with the means to pay. Accepting and increasing diversity at a place like BU, regardless of race, gender, or class, is what makes a prestigious university like BU so special. Thank you.